The Tao Te Ching, the complete text. Part 2, Te. The highest virtue does not try to be virtuous. That is why it has virtue. The lesser virtue never lets go of virtue. That is why it has none. The highest virtue does not act and needs no reason. The lesser virtue acts and always has its reasons. The highest kindness acts and needs no reason. The highest duty acts and has its reasons. The highest ritual acts, and when no one answers, it rolls up its sleeves and forces them. So, when the way is lost, virtue comes next. When virtue is lost, kindness comes next. When kindness is lost, duty comes next. When duty is lost, ritual comes next. And ritual is the thin husk of loyalty and trust, and the beginning of disorder. Foreknowledge is the bright blossom of the way, and the beginning of folly. So the mature man keeps to the solid, not the thin, to the fruit, not the flower. He lets go of all that and holds to this. Of old, these gained the one. Heaven gained the one and grew clear. Earth gained the one and grew steady. The spirits gained the one and grew potent. The valleys gained the one and grew full. All things gained the one and came alive. Lords and kings gained the one and set the world right. And pushed further. Without what makes it clear, heaven might tear apart. Without what makes it steady, earth might burst. Without what makes them potent, the spirits might fade. Without what makes them full, the valleys might run dry. Without what gives them life, all things might perish. Without what keeps them honored and high, lords and kings might fall. So the honored is rooted in the humble, and the high is founded on the low. That is why lords and kings call themselves the orphan, the friendless, the unworthy. Is that not being rooted in the humble? Is it not? Count all the praise you can, and you have no praise. Do not chime like jade. Clatter like stone. Turning back is how the way moves. Yielding is how the way works. All things in the world are born from what is. And what is born from what is not. When the best student hears of the way, he follows it with care. When the average student hears of it, it stays a while, then fades. When the poorest student hears of it, he laughs out loud. If he did not laugh, it would not be the way. So the old sayings have it, the bright way seems dark. The way forward seems to go backward. The level way seems rough. The highest virtue seems a valley. The purest white seems stained. The widest virtue seems not enough. The firmest virtue seems to shirk. The most solid truth seems to shift. The greatest square has no corners. The greatest vessel is finished late. The greatest music is barely heard. The greatest image has no form. The way is hidden and has no name. Yet it is the way alone that gives to all things and completes them. The way gives birth to one. One gives birth to two. Two gives birth to three. And three gives birth to all things. All things carry the dark on their backs and hold the light in their arms. And the breath between them makes harmony. What people hate most is to be the orphan, the friendless, the unworthy. Yet kings and princes call themselves just that. For things may be lessened and gained by it, or increased and lose. What others teach, I teach too. The violent do not die a natural death. I make that the cornerstone of my teaching. The softest thing in the world rides over the hardest. What has no substance enters where there is no gap. That is how I know the gain in not acting. Teaching without words, gain without acting. Few in the world ever reach them. Your name or your life, which is closer to you? Your life or your goods, which is worth more? Gaining or losing, which does the deeper harm? Cling hard, and it costs you dearly. Hoard much, and you lose it in heaps. Know what is enough, and no shame will touch you. Know where to stop, and no danger will reach you. So you can last long. The greatest completeness seems broken, yet use will not wear it out. The greatest fullness seems empty, yet use will not drain it. The straightest seems bent. The most skillful seems clumsy. The most eloquent seems tongue-tied. Movement overcomes cold. Stillness overcomes heat. Clear and still, you set the world right. When the world has the way, even racehorses are set to hauling dung. When the world loses the way, war horses are bred in the border fields. No misfortune is greater than not knowing what is enough. No fault is more bitter than the urge to possess. To know when enough is to have enough, always. Without stepping out the door, you can know the world. Without looking out the window, you can see the way of heaven. The farther you travel, the less you know. So, the sage knows without traveling, understands without seeing, and completes without acting. In learning, every day adds something. In the way, every day drops something. Drop, and drop again, until you come to not acting. Not acting, yet nothing is left undone. Win the world by leaving it alone. Start meddling, and the world is beyond your winning. The sage has no fixed heart. The hearts of the people are his heart. Those who are good, I meet with goodness. Those who are not, I also meet with goodness. And goodness grows. Those who trust, I trust. Those who do not, I also trust. And trust grows. The sage lives in the world, holding nothing apart, and lets his heart grow, one with all of it. The people strain their ears and eyes. The sage receives them all as children. We come out into life and go in to death. 3 in 10 are followers of life. 3 in 10 are followers of death. And 3 in 10 love life, yet move toward the place of death. Why? Because they grasp at life too hard. It is said, one who is good at holding life walks the land and meets no rhinoceros or tiger. Walks through an army and is not touched by weapons. The rhinoceros finds nowhere to drive its horn. The tiger finds nowhere to set its claws. The blade finds nowhere to sink its edge. Why? Because there is no place of death in him. The way gives them life. Virtue rears them. Matter shapes them. Circumstance completes them. So nothing among all things fails to honor the way and prize virtue. And this honor, this prizing, no one commands it. It is always so of itself. So the way gives them life, and virtue rears them. Raises them, tends them. Steadies them, ripens them. Feeds them, shelters them. It gives life and does not possess. It acts and claims nothing. It leads and does not rule. This is called the deep virtue. The world has a beginning, the mother of the world. Find the mother, and you know the children. Know the children, and return to keep the mother. And to the end of your days, nothing can harm you. Close the openings, shut the gates, and to the end of your life, you will not wear out. Open the openings, pile on business, and to the end of your life, you are past help. To see the small is called clarity. To keep to the soft is called strength. Use the light, but come home to the clarity, and no harm is left for you. This is called living in the lasting. If I had just a grain of sense, I would walk the great way and fear only straying from it. The great way is smooth and level, but people love the side paths. The court is swept clean, while the fields are choked with weeds and the granaries stand empty. Some wear bright embroidered robes, carry sharp swords, are stuffed with food and drink, and own more wealth than they can use. This is called the boasting of thieves. It is not the way. What is well planted is not pulled up. What is well held does not slip away. And the offerings of the children's children never cease. Tend it in yourself, and virtue becomes real. Tend it in the family, and virtue overflows. Tend it in the village, and virtue lasts. Tend it in the land, and virtue grows rich. Tend it in the world, and virtue is everywhere. So look at a self through the self, at a family through the family, at a village through the village, at a land through the land, at the world through the world. How do I know the world is so? By this. One who holds virtue in fullness is like a newborn child. Wasps and scorpions, vipers and snakes do not sting it. Birds of prey and wild beasts do not strike it. Its bones are weak, its sinews soft, and yet its grip is firm. It knows nothing yet as male and female joining, yet its little member stirs. Its life force is at its fullest. It cries all day and never grows hoarse. Its harmony is at its fullest. To know harmony is called the lasting. To know the lasting is to be clear-eyed. Forcing life is called an ill omen. When the mind drives the breath, that is called forcing. Whatever grows too strong will age. This is called going against the way. And what goes against the way ends early. The one who knows does not speak. The one who speaks does not know. Close the openings. Shut the gates. Blunt your sharpness. Untie your knots. Soften your glare. Settle into the dust. This is called the deep sameness. You cannot get close to him, and you cannot keep him at a distance. You cannot help him, and you cannot harm him. You cannot raise him up, and you cannot bring him low. That is why the world holds him dear. Govern a state by what is upright. Wage war by surprise. But win the world by leaving it alone. How do I know this is so? By this. The more that is forbidden, the poorer the people grow. The more sharp tools among the people, the darker the state. The more cleverness, the more strange things appear. The more laws are spelled out, the more thieves there are. So the sage says, I do nothing, and the people change by themselves. I love stillness, and the people set themselves right. I do not meddle, and the people grow rich by themselves. I want nothing, and the people grow simple as uncarved wood. When the rule is quiet and dull, the people are simple and sound. When the rule is sharp and prying, the people grow cunning and mean. Misfortune, good fortune leans on it. Good fortune, misfortune hides inside it. Who knows where it ends? There is no fixed rule. The straight turns strange again. The good turns monstrous again. People have been lost about this for a long, long time. Sharp-edged, but wounds no one. Straight, but not overbearing. Bright, but not blinding. In governing people and serving heaven, nothing beats thrift. Thrift means yielding early. Yielding early means storing virtue, layer on layer. Store virtue, and nothing is beyond you. When nothing is beyond you, no one knows your limit. When no one knows your limit, you are fit to hold the land. And holding the mother of the land, you can last long. This is called deep roots and a firm stem, the way of long life and lasting sight. Govern a great country as you would cook a small fish. Rule the world by the way, and the dead do not haunt it. Not that the ghosts have no power. Their power does no harm to people. Not only does their power do no harm, the sage does no harm to people either. And since neither does harm, virtue flows back and forth between them. A great country is like low ground where the waters meet. The meeting place of the world, the female of the world. The female always overcomes the male by stillness, and in stillness she lies low. So when a great country lowers itself before a small one, it wins the small one. When a small country lowers itself before a great one, it wins the great one. Some win by lying low. Others lying low are won. The great country wants no more than to gather and feed people. The small country wants no more than to join and serve. Both get what they want, but it is the great one that should lie low. The way is the innermost room of all things. The good man's treasure, the not good man's refuge. Fine words can buy standing. Fine deeds can lift a man above others. But if someone is not good, why throw him away? So, when the Son of Heaven is crowned and the three ministers installed, rather than sending jade discs carried before 4-horse teams, sit still and offer this way. Why did the ancients prize this way? Did they not say, "Seek and you find, be guilty and you are spared"? That is why the world holds it dear. Act without acting. Work without working. Taste without tasting. Make the great small and the many few. Repay bitterness with virtue. Take on the hard while it is still easy. Do the great while it is still small. The hardest things in the world begin easy. The greatest things in the world begin small. So the sage never sets out to do the great, and that is how he completes the great. Promise lightly, and trust runs thin. The more you take as easy, the more you find hard. So the sage treats everything as hard, and in the end, nothing is hard. What is still is easy to hold. What has shown no sign is easy to plan for. What is brittle is easy to break. What is barely there is easy to scatter. Do it before it exists. Set it in order before it tangles. A tree you can just get your arms around grows from the tip of a shoot. A tower of 9 stories rises from a basket of earth. A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath your feet. Act on it, and you ruin it. Grasp it, and you lose it. So the sage does nothing, and ruins nothing. He holds nothing, and loses nothing. When people take on a task, they ruin it just at the edge of success. As careful at the end as at the beginning, and nothing is ruined. The sage wants what no one wants and does not prize what is hard to get. He learns what no one learns and turns back to what the many passed by. So he can help all things be what they are, but he dares not force them. The masters of old who walked the way did not use it to enlighten the people. They used it to keep them simple. The people are hard to govern when they know too many tricks. So to rule a land by cleverness is to rob it. To rule without cleverness is to bless it. To know these two is to know the ancient measure. Always to know the measure is called the deep virtue. The deep virtue is deep and far-reaching. It turns back with all things and comes at last to the great accord. The rivers and the sea are kings of the 100 valleys because they are good at lying below them. That is why they are kings of the 100 valleys. So the sage, when he would stand above the people, keeps his words beneath them. When he would stand ahead of the people, he puts himself behind them. He is ahead of them, and the people come to no harm. The whole world is glad to carry him forward and never tires of him. He does not compete, so no one in the world can compete with him. Everyone says, "My way is great, but it looks like nothing else." It is great precisely because it looks like nothing else. If it looked like everything else, it would long ago have become small. I have 3 treasures. I hold them and guard them. The first is gentleness. The second is thrift. The third, never dare to be first in the world. Gentle and so able to be brave. Thrifty and so able to be generous. Never daring to be first and so able to grow into a leader. But now, brave without gentleness, generous without thrift, first without ever standing behind, that is death. Gentleness wins the battle and holds the wall. When heaven would save someone, it arms him with gentleness. The best soldier is not warlike. The best fighter is not angry. The best winner does not meet the enemy head-on. The best leader of men places himself below them. This is called the virtue of not competing. This is called using the strength of others. This is called matching heaven, the oldest measure of all. The soldiers have a saying, "I dare not play the host. I would rather be the guest. I dare not advance an inch. I would rather retreat a foot." This is called marching where there is no road, bearing no arm, meeting no enemy, holding no weapon. No misfortune is greater than taking the enemy lightly. Take the enemy lightly, and my treasures are as good as lost. So when evenly matched armies meet, the one that grieves wins. My words are very easy to understand, very easy to follow. Yet no one in the world understands them, and no one follows them. Words have an ancestor. Deeds have a master. It is only because people do not know this that they do not know me. Those who know me are few, and those who follow me are precious. So the sage wears coarse cloth and carries jade next to his heart. To know that you do not know is best. Not to know, yet think you know, that is the sickness. Only one who is sick of the sickness is free of it. The sage is not sick. He is sick of the sickness, and so he is not sick. When the people no longer fear power, a greater power is on its way. Do not crowd them where they live. Do not press down on their livelihood. Only where there is no pressing. So the sage knows himself, but does not display himself. He cares for himself, but does not exalt himself. He lets go of all that and holds to this. Courage in daring kills. Courage in not daring keeps alive. Both are courage. One brings gain, the other harm. What heaven hates, who knows the reason? Even the sage treats it as hard. The way of heaven does not compete, yet it wins well. It does not speak, yet it answers well. It does not call, yet all things come of themselves. It is unhurried, yet it plans well. Heaven's net is vast. Wide meshed, it lets nothing slip. If the people do not fear death, why threaten them with death? Suppose they always feared death, and anyone who did wrong could be caught and killed. Who would dare? But there is already one appointed to kill. To kill in his place is to cut wood for the master carpenter. And whoever cuts wood for the master carpenter rarely gets away with unhurt hands. The people starve because those above them eat too much in taxes. That is why they starve. The people are hard to govern because those above them keep acting. That is why they are hard to govern. The people take death lightly because those above them grasp at life too hard. That is why they take death lightly. Only one who does not live for living's sake is wiser than one who prizes life. A human being is born soft and yielding and dies hard and stiff. Grass and trees are born soft and tender and die dry and brittle. So the hard and stiff are followers of death. The soft and yielding are followers of life. That is why a stiff army does not win and a stiff tree meets the axe. The hard and great sink below. The soft and yielding rise above. Is not the way of heaven like the drawing of a bow? What is high is pressed down. What is low is lifted up. Excess is trimmed away, and want is filled. The way of heaven takes from what has too much and gives to what has too little. The way of men is otherwise. They take from those who have too little to serve those who have too much. Who can take his own surplus and offer it to the world? Only one who has the way. So the sage acts and claims nothing. He completes his work and does not dwell on it. He has no wish to be seen as better than others. Nothing in the world is softer or more yielding than water, yet nothing beats it at wearing down the hard and strong. Nothing can take its place. The weak overcome the strong. The soft overcome the hard. Everyone in the world knows it. No one manages to live it. So the sage says, "Take on the country's filth, and you are the keeper of its shrines. Take on the country's misfortune, and you are king of the world." Straight words sound backwards. Settle a great grievance, and some grievance remains. How can that be called making good? So the sage holds his half of the tally and demands nothing from anyone. The virtuous keep the tally. The virtueless collect the debts. The way of heaven has no favorites. It is always with the good. A small country, few people. Though they have tools that do the work of 10 or 100, no one uses them. The people take death seriously and do not travel far. They have boats and carriages, but no one rides them. They have armor and weapons, but no one lines up for battle. The people go back to knotting cords and use them for writing. Their food tastes good to them. Their clothes feel fine. Their homes are at peace. Their customs bring them joy. The neighboring country lies within sight. Roosters and dogs are heard across the border, and the people grow old and die without ever having gone over to visit. True words are not beautiful. Beautiful words are not true. The good do not argue. Those who argue are not good. The wise are not learned. The learned are not wise. The sage hoards nothing. The more he does for others, the more he has. The more he gives away, the more is his. The way of heaven, it benefits and does not harm. The way of the sage, he acts and does not compete.